Battle of Godzilla vs. Anaconda. Who would win in different locations? Hey there, folks. Ever sat around with your friends and wondered who would win in a face-off between Godzilla and an anaconda? No? Well, today's the day we dive into that wild, what-if, scenario. Grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's jump into this epic showdown across different terrains. So, here's the deal. We're pitting the legendary king of the monsters, Godzilla, against the massive and stealthy Anaconda. And to make it even more interesting, we're throwing them into three different battlegrounds: the dense Amazon jungle, the depths of the ocean, and right smack in the middle of a bustling modern city. It's gonna be a wild ride, so let's get started. Godzilla. First up, the big guy himself, Godzilla. If you've watched any monster movies, you know this guy needs no introduction. But for those new to the party, Godzilla made his grand debut back in the 1950s. Originally a metaphor for nuclear destruction, over time, he's become a sort of anti-hero, sometimes even saving humanity from other monstrous threats. Talk about a character arc. Now, let's talk stats. Godzilla stands at a staggering 350 feet tall. Imagine stacking over 20 double-decker buses, that's how tall he is. He weighs in at over 90,000 tons. That's heavier than, well, pretty much anything else stomping around on Earth. But size isn't his only advantage. He's got that iconic atomic breath, a radioactive beam that can level entire city blocks. Plus, he's got regenerative healing abilities. You scratch him, and he'll bounce right back. And let's not forget his super tough skin. It's like he's wearing indestructible armor. Basically, he's a gigantic, nearly unstoppable force of nature. Anaconda. On the other side of the ring, we have the Anaconda. Not just any snake, but the green anaconda, the heaviest snake in the world. These guys are native to the tropical rainforests of South America, where they slither through swamps and rivers like it's nobody's business. Anacondas can grow up to 30 feet long and weigh over 550 pounds. That's longer than a London bus and heavier than a grand piano. They're not venomous, but don't let that fool you. They constrict their prey, wrapping those powerful muscles around them to squeeze tighter than your jeans after Thanksgiving dinner. They're masters of stealth, often lying in wait underwater with just their nostrils poking above the surface, ready to ambush anything that comes close. They've been known to take down wild pigs, deer, and even jaguars. So yeah, they're pretty formidable in their own right. Battle Scenario 1. The dense Amazon jungle. Alright. First battleground. The Anaconda's home turf, the dense Amazon jungle. Picture this. Towering trees, thick underbrush, winding rivers, and the sounds of exotic birds and insects filling the air. It's humid, it's lush, and it's teeming with life. For the Anaconda, this setting is perfect. It's like having home field advantage in the playoffs. The jungle provides plenty of cover, allowing it to camouflage and move stealthily through the foliage and waterways. It knows the terrain like the back of its tail. Godzilla, meanwhile, brings his sheer size and strength to the table. Trees? He can knock them over like they're twigs. His tough skin acts like natural armor against any potential threats lurking in the shadows. Plus, if there's a river big enough, he can take a dip. Remember, he's amphibious. But there are downsides too. For the Anaconda, the obvious one is size. How does a 30-foot snake take on a 350-foot tall monster? It's like trying to hug a skyscraper. Godzilla might find the jungle a bit cramped. Maneuvering through dense vegetation could slow him down a bit, and the uneven terrain might be a slight nuisance. But let's be honest, when you're that big, obstacles tend to get out of your way, whether they like it or not. So, let's set the scene. The Anaconda lies in wait beneath the murky waters of a river, eyes just above the surface. Godzilla's footsteps cause ripples that can be felt miles away. Birds take flight, monkeys screech and scurry away. The Anaconda senses the vibrations and prepares to strike. As Godzilla approaches the riverbank, the Anaconda launches itself at his leg, coiling with all its might. For a moment, it seems like the ambush is successful. But Godzilla looks down, probably more puzzled than anything else. Did I step in something? With a simple shake, Godzilla tries to dislodge the pesky attacker. The Anaconda tightens its grip, but it's no use. Realizing this isn't going to cut it, Godzilla lets out a deafening roar and unleashes his atomic breath. The blast not only sears the area but ignites the surrounding jungle, causing a massive wildfire. The anaconda is forced to release and retreat to avoid becoming a roasted snake. In the end, Godzilla takes the win. The anaconda's stealth and knowledge of the terrain give it a momentary edge, but against Godzilla's overwhelming power and size, it's just not enough. The jungle may slow Godzilla down a bit, but it doesn't stop him. Battle Scenario 2. The depths of the ocean. Next up, we're diving into the depths of the ocean. Imagine the vast, dark underwater world where sunlight barely penetrates and mysterious creatures lurk in the shadows. This is Godzilla's domain. Godzilla is right at home here. He's an amphibious creature, equally comfortable on land and underwater. He can swim at incredible speeds, withstand immense pressure, and has been known to take down entire fleets while submerged. Plus, his atomic breath works underwater, which is both awesome and terrifying. The anaconda is a capable swimmer in freshwater. It's adept at navigating rivers and swamps, but the ocean is a whole different kettle of fish. The saltwater environment isn't ideal, and the vastness of the ocean negates its usual stealth tactics. For the anaconda, this is about as bad as it gets. Saltwater isn't suitable for them, so survival becomes an issue right off the bat. The depth and pressure of the ocean depths are beyond anything it can handle. Godzilla doesn't really have any significant disadvantages here. If anything, he's even more formidable underwater. So, picture the anaconda trying to make its way through the open ocean. It's out of its element, struggling with the salinity and the lack of places to hide. Meanwhile, Godzilla is gliding through the water like a colossal submarine. The anaconda spots Godzilla and perhaps thinks, maybe if I can catch him by surprise. But how do you sneak up in an environment where you stick out like a sore thumb? The anaconda attempts to wrap around Godzilla's tail or maybe a leg, but it's like a minnow attacking a shark. Godzilla probably doesn't even notice at first. When he does, a casual flick sends the anaconda spiraling away. Alternatively, perhaps Godzilla uses his atomic breath, causing a massive underwater shockwave that the anaconda simply can't withstand. Unsurprisingly, Godzilla dominates this scenario. The ocean gives him every advantage, while the anaconda is completely outmatched and out of its comfort zone. It's a decisive win for the king of the monsters. Battle Scenario 3. The heart of a modern city. Last but not least, let's bring the battle to a place we're all familiar with, a bustling modern city. Skyscrapers reaching for the sky, streets filled with cars, well, until they see what's coming, and people going about their day. Godzilla is notorious for his city-stomping ways. Buildings are like toys to him, and urban environments offer little resistance. His size allows him to move over obstacles effortlessly, and he's not exactly worried about collateral damage. The anaconda might find some opportunities here. Think about the intricate network of subways, sewers, and underground passages. It could use these to move undetected, popping up unexpectedly to strike. But the city's open streets and lack of natural cover pose a problem for the anaconda. Without trees and dense foliage, hiding becomes a challenge. Plus, the urban environment is noisy and chaotic, hard to sense vibrations when everything is vibrating. For Godzilla, there aren't many drawbacks. If anything, he has to be careful not to trip over smaller buildings, not that they'd hurt him, but who wants to stumble on camera? So, imagine the anaconda lurking beneath the city streets, navigating the subway tunnels. Commuters are already fleeing, so at least the trains aren't running. It slithers up through a manhole. Hope nobody was standing on that, and spots Godzilla towering above the skyline. Timing its move, the anaconda strikes, aiming for a leg or perhaps trying to get higher by scaling a building first. Godzilla notices the attack. Maybe he's impressed by the anaconda's tenacity. But this is his playground. He might grab a nearby building and use it like a club, or simply stomp, causing the ground to shake and buildings to collapse. The anaconda finds that its usual tactics aren't effective here. There's nowhere to hide, and each attempt to strike is easily countered. In the end, Godzilla stands victorious once more. The urban environment amplifies his strengths while offering little to the anaconda. The city's structures become tools or weapons for Godzilla, and the anaconda's stealth is rendered ineffective. Comparative analysis. Let's break it down one more time. Godzilla brings immense size, strength, and destructive capabilities to the table. He's versatile, adapting to land, sea, and urban environments. His atomic breath is a game changer, and his durability is off the charts. The anaconda is a master of stealth, ambush, and can deliver a crushing grip. In its natural habitat, it's a top predator and not to be underestimated. Godzilla's only real weakness might be in tight or confined spaces, but as we've seen, he usually just makes more room by smashing through whatever's in his way. The anaconda's main weakness in this matchup is the sheer size and power difference. Outside of its element, it struggles to adapt, and even in the jungle, Godzilla's power is overwhelming. It's clear that the environment plays a significant role in any battle. The anaconda thrives in the jungle but falters elsewhere. Godzilla, however, is adaptable across various terrains, making him a formidable opponent no matter where the fight takes place. Final thoughts. So, after all that, what's the takeaway? We've imagined this epic face-off in the jungle, the ocean, and the city, and in each scenario, Godzilla comes out on top. It's not exactly a fair fight, but hey, that's the fun of hypothetical matchups. Godzilla is just too big, too strong, and too powerful for the anaconda to handle. While the anaconda is an impressive predator in its own right, this battle is like matching a heavyweight champion against a middle schooler. Not exactly balanced. But here's a thought. What if the anaconda had some backup? Maybe teaming up with other creatures of the jungle? Or perhaps in a different scenario altogether? That's where you come in. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the anaconda could stand a chance under different circumstances? Got any wild theories or ideas? Drop them in the comments below. Let's get the conversation going. Thanks for joining me on this imaginative journey. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more fun and adventurous content. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss the next epic hypothetical showdown we're cooking up. Until next time, stay curious and keep imagining the impossible. Peace out.